Okay, everyone ready? Do we have sound for those of you online? Good morning. Can you hear us? Anyone online?
Sounds good from building halls.
Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. It is now 9 o'clock. Today is Tuesday, November the 15th. I want to welcome all of you to the regular Board of the San Luis County Board of County Commissioners meeting. At this time, I'm going to ask you to rise, and Commissioner Tony Paz, would you please give us an invocation?
Dear Lord, thank you for another day. We ask for your wisdom and strength for all we face today and this week. We are grateful for your guidance for every decision we make. Thank you for your many blessings. With gratitude in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Commissioner Luis Lopez, please lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Call Mr. Darlington.
Commissioner Hess. Commissioner Luis Lopez.
I'm here.
Commissioner Felix Lopez.
I am here. Approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda, Mr. Darlington?
Commissioner, one change, I'd ask the board to table item 8A under new business. Excuse me, whenever you reach that topic, to table it at that time.
Sure. So that would be a change to the agenda. Commissioners, any questions? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Move for approval of the agenda with that correction.
Second motion.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Thank you, sir. We don't have any consideration of minutes, so Section 3, reading of correspondence, Commissioners, Committee reports. Commissioner Luis Lopez, would you like to go first?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. And I'll try to defer most of it to Commissioner Hass regarding our meetings we had with Commissioner Greensburg, who was with us. I did have a renewal board meeting that I wasn't able to attend last Thursday, which was not much on the agenda. There's some finances that was taken care of with payments to the port and so forth. I do have a board meeting tomorrow night with the Board of Health. We have a Front Range Rail meeting Friday, and then I have Otero Partners Incorporated on Monday. Otero Partners did in the meantime provide another loan to an organization, and so that was pushed through a special meeting, and thank you to the Finance Committee for your efforts in doing so. So we have one more loan out in the community that was moved forward, so I'll yield at that, Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Tony Hess.
November 4th, we met with the BLM, and they gave us an update on the migration corridor land management plan amendment process. BLM is considering an amendment to the oil and gas program decisions and existing BLM resource management plans to promote the conservation of big game habitats on BLM administered land and minnows in Colorado. One of the comments that was made from Los Angeles County was that we would, one size doesn't fit all, and please recognize that the produced water that come out of our gas wells up here along Highway 12 are beneficial to the livestock and also to the game, the big game. And by limiting that oil and gas exploration to one well per square mile, that would eliminate a lot of those ponds. And one of my concerns was with the reintroduction of the wolf. If they dedicate one area as a corridor for big game and they close it down, and then the wolf pressures the elk to move to another location that establishes another corridor, will they open that corridor back up that they just closed so that they can continue to operate? Or does it stay locked down and then they lock down another corridor? And they did not answer that question, that they were going to go back to their superiors and find out. But there's a lot of questions in regards to what's going to happen there. On November 7th and 8th, Commissioner Kate Greenberg finally accepted Los Animas County's invitation to tour Los Animas County. During her state ag tour that she was holding, we were able to visit several ag productions in Los Animas County. Commissioner Greenberg also visited our fairground facilities and met with our extension agents, Lori Arnold and Kim Peters, and made them aware of grant and scholarship opportunities available for first-time ag producers, as well as 4-H and FFA participants. On the 10th of November, CCI hosted a winter conference planning. I will be moderating a breakout session and a planning session for innovative approaches to ag, strengthening ag. Greg Felt from Chaffey County would like to talk about elevated water sessions. Urban is disconnected from ag and would like to heal those divisions. The purpose of the whole meeting is to empower counties to promote and elevate ag. In Chaffey County, Greg Felt and his commissioners have incentivized ag production to some extent. And I'm looking forward to learning about what they're doing there in Chaffey County. Sounds great. Also, that will be present on the panel will be Robert Sakata. He's a vegetable grower from Pueblo and received multiple awards from different organizations, highly recognized in the ag profession. Erin Carney, who will be, she is our Colorado Cabinet Vice President, and she will be there. And she was eager to participate and talk about proactive and leaders with vision. One thing that Robert Sakata thought would be good to bring up, and he's going to have a little movie to that effect, was robotic laser weeding. And he said they cost about $1.5 million, so it's probably not going to hit the ground running for a while. But he gave us a demonstration on a little video he had, and wow, it can actually tell a very small plant from a weed and zaps it as it's going. These little lasers zap it as it goes. It's really going to be an interesting session.
Expensive farming.
Go show them that.
Also on the 10th of November, the Transportation Regulation Development and County Program Implementation meeting was held, and Karen Johnson from Huford, CDPHE, she was the main moderator. The meeting was to recognize that House Bill 21-1085 and what it created was a regulatory services system to provide secure transportation services to individuals experiencing behavioral crisis and to create a more effective alternative to traditional ambulance services and law enforcement. And the rules and regs that are going to be coming down must include specific components and be adapted. And they were supposed to be adopted by the 1st of July of 2022. And county commissioners' responsibility will be staffing requirements, clinical, medical, compliance management programs and standards for secure transportation services and data collection. And this is another unfunded mandate we're going to have to deal with. Also on the 10th of November, Colorado Building Benchmarking and Performance Policies, Crystal Eagle Camp, Colorado Energy, gave a presentation to reduce carbon emission with green energy. This is another unfunded mandate for House Bill 21-1286. We're supposed to reduce our carbon emissions by 50% in 2030. Requires commercial and public buildings of 50,000 square feet, and they would have to track their energy use. And I hope that we don't have many, but I believe that our courthouse is exempt from that, correct?
Exempt from the fee, but we still have to track energy usage.
Okay, and probably the highlight of the last 2 weeks was November 11th, was the Veterans Day celebration at Sebastian and Jim. Kudos go out to Ray Odom and Linda Barron in the Florida Legion, along with local school children, Daughters of the American Revolution, and the Veterans Council. They put that together, and what a great event. We had children service, and they were able to, it was an educational event for them. Jody Amato was one of our 4-H leaders that brought her 4-H club there to experience it, and they got a lot out of it. I had a conversation with her. She was, thought they got a lot out of it. Colonel Brown was there for the first time. He's the new CEO out there at Indian Canyon, and along with Color Guard, and John Michelle was the moderator. And it was a great event honoring all our American heroes, 3 of which were World War II veterans, so it was good to
Chairman, if I may,
Please.
an update, I forgot to mention on 350, it is open since our last meeting, 100%. There was no disruption with our ag community. Thank you for allowing me, board members, to advocate on behalf of Los Angeles County and our farmers and ranchers. But 350 is going, they will be doing some more bridges out there, but not as of right now. That'll be happening in Otero County, but we won't have any disruption in that. And I would like to wish everybody and all of our staff, since we won't see you guys next week, a happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. And hopefully you all have a safe, wonderful, and full bellies come next week. So thank you.
I believe that that's probably going to happen, Commissioner. Thank you so much. A lot of the meetings that Commissioner Tony has and Commissioner Luis Lopez mentioned have the privilege to attend as well. I want to highlight on one of the meetings that we attended, House Bill 21-1286. For our community, any building that exceeds 50,000 square feet or more, anyone that may own a building out there, it is going to be the plan has to be in, I believe, December 1st. It has to be in with the Colorado office, Colorado Energy Office, and so from there, the compliance will begin to be collected. The compliance parameters have to be met, and then eventually fines for non-compliant buildings will be implemented. One of the questions personally I asked to the presenter is this an attempt for communities like our county, for property owners that have buildings that exceed 50,000 square feet, if they don't have the capital to do the green energy implementation, the electrification, and meet all the requirements, how do these people, how can they stay compliant? And the question was, is the intent of this House Bill 1286 to drive them out of business? And of course, the answer is going to be research, because she said that's not the intent of the state. So we hope that's going to be indeed what happens here, and then work with those building owners. I don't know how many we have, but then our assessor, our county assessor, is working directly with the energy office to provide how many buildings we have within the community. But so anyway, that more information for comment on that. I want to give a shout out to the National Association of Counties and to this Board of County Commissioners. We listed our green light resolution online, so if you still want to see it, I don't know if it's still there, but it was posted at the national map at the national level, where Los Angeles County honored from November 7th through the 11th Operation Green Light. And so as a resolution that passed in Denver in July, we were honored to be able to do it here locally. And of course, if you noticed, if any one of you noticed, during that week, the lights of the courthouse were green, identifying that we are supportive of our veterans in this county, on this state, and then of course in the nation. And personally, I went ahead and I put those lights in my residence. I had a neighbor that came and said, hey, what's with the green light? I have a question for you. So anyway, you can take it from there. but it was actually fun to display that at home. It remained on for that time as well. And also, I want to give a shout out to all the elected officials in the San Luis County that, welcome back, Commissioner Tony Haas, and to our county assessor, our clerk and recorder, to our coroner, we have our treasurer, and who am I forgetting? And of course, our sheriff. So welcome and thank you all of you for a very successful re-election campaign. Great to have all of you, and Team San Luis County pretty strong. One of the other highlights I want to put in there is on and we'll talk a little bit more about that, the BLM agreement. The conversation that we had with them extends and stems from in working directly with Department of Natural Resources, Colorado Department of Transportation, and Colorado Parks and Wildlife. All these three agencies are working directly with the BLM to enforce, enact, well, first to enact and enforce the rules that they're going to be coming up with. And so one of the questions that we also had for the BLM, when the oil and gas is completely done with the rulemaking, COGCC, what rules are they going to go by? Is it going to be the BLM, or are they going to be going with the COGCC? And that question was to be answered. So last thing, another, on Saturday, November 12th, there was a meeting at the community center on fire mitigation and forest health management. That workshop was about 4 hours long. A lot of private landowners. This was sponsored by the Spanish Lakes Purgatory River Conservation District, but they had a couple of presenters in there from the Rocky Mountain Bird Observatory, from the Colorado State Forest Service, and then of course the Natural Resources Conservation Service. A lot of the landowners within Los Angeles County are concerned. They want to put a mitigation process for preventing fires, and I mean the workshop was incredibly informational for anybody that has 40 acres or more out there in the community. There are grants to support any fire mitigation that they may have. I mean, it was interesting because we learned about the bird habitat, and then also how to mitigate some of those fire-prone areas. So that would be my report. And again, welcome on this snowy, beautiful Tuesday morning. We're going to go now to the elected officials update. Do we have anyone from, let me begin with our county assessor, Jory Amado. Do you have any, are you online, and do you have any updates? Let me go to the clerk and recorder's office. Anyone from the clerk and recorder's office, Ms. Pitchfield? Anyone from the treasurer's office? Ms. Leonetti?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Do you have any updates for us? Yes, we can.
Yes, the only update I have is a reminder that we'll be hosting our tax sale on December the 1st at 10 o'clock a.m. It's on a Thursday in the Commissioner's Chambers.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you so much. Do we have any updates from our county sheriff, Mr. Navarrete? Do we have any updates from our district attorney, Mr. Solano? Anyone with the coroner's office, Mr. Junior Berger? I see Mr. Amaro walked in there, so you must have an update. Please, welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen and everyone.
Good morning.
Enjoying the cool weather.
Yes.
I was wondering why the fans were on. Like, it's not that hot in here. Currently, we are working on as assessors. I just came back from a Tyler users group a week ago. We are working on Senate Bill 22-238, which for the year of 2023 will lower 9 different assessment rates. We will be making an adjustment to valuation for 1 year. The governor signed Senate Bill 22-238. So we will be we're figuring out computer-wise how we have to make this valuation adjustment work and what that will look like. So as we continue on this path, I will let everybody know. There is a backfill to this, so any revenue or any value we lose, and counties will be backfilled, most entities will be backfilled at this point. So the Senate bill was only signed for the year of 2023, but I have a feeling, and I hear rumblings, that there is legislation being proposed that could adjust this, so it's something we'll have to keep our eyes on.
Jody, what was the estimated backfill that the state of Colorado? Do you
For
have
this,
it?
I don't have it off the top of my head,
Okay.
but it is going to be a significant amount out of the Tabor refund. And considering we just passed free lunches, which is going to come out of the Tabor refund, we just passed the housing bill that was voted on, just passed, that's going to come out of the Tabor refund. I'm afraid our Colorado State Tabor refund is going to be dwindling faster than we can fill or backfill all of these bills. My personal opinion.
And then we haven't received the, Tabor refund in years until this past election year. And what do they do with that money during the rest of those times? So it makes you beg to wonder what the JDC is doing with that refund on an annual basis.
Some years we haven't had it, but in years we have an excess right now due to during COVID lockdown, marijuana seemed to be a booming business. So there was quite a bit of sales tax generated from that. But just looking 5, 10, 15 years down the road, we've passed all these legislative bills, all of these legislative bills that are going to be filled and funded by Tabor refund. That pie is going to get smaller and smaller, unfortunately. So as bills progress, I'm expecting next year to be quite a busy year in assessor law. We'll see what they dream up that we can implement.
Jody, one of the updates we also gave was the House Bill 1286, the buildings exceeding 50,000 square feet less. How many buildings do we have in Los Angeles County that meet that criteria?
Right now we have 6 that meet that criteria. The courthouse is one of them. This college would be one of them. We have not received black and white legislation or black and white language as to whether tax exempt buildings come in, but I have 6 that are publicly owned, so they're private businesses that would have to meet that criteria. Mostly our hotels here locally would meet that.
And I would imagine they have been notified by the Colorado Energy.
I would hope they would have been notified by that, but I wouldn't count on that at this moment. Because we do have to, we have been reporting this data to them for the past 3 years as this bill has been in progression and being developed and going forward with that.
I believe there was correspondence, the U.S. Postal Service, Mr. Caracamp, we received that letter from them, correct?
That's correct. I believe we did sometime back.
Okay. So I would hope that that's not going to be a surprise for anyone within our county. And they mentioned that approximately there is 8,600 buildings in Colorado that meet the criteria thus far, based on the inventory that they have from the assessors. And there is also going to be a fee, an application fee of $100. So their current additional revenue for simply registering the building would be close to $1 million. And so, the question was, how are you going to reinvest that $1 million to help these building owners, specifically in rural areas and frontier counties, to
become compliant with this issue, because that House bill is asking quite a bit from private owners, especially when we're probably on the verge of seeing an economic downturn. So how are we asking business owners to put this amount of money into updating their buildings to be energy conservative, energy efficient, green energy, things of that nature, going with wind, solar, different types of energy efficiency? How do we ask these businesses to do that?
When they're
Can
struggling.
they, when they're struggling, and it's going to, probably the struggle's going to get far greater. I don't know. I'm just a little assessor, so, in Los Angeles County. And that's all I have for this morning.
Thank you for that update.
Thank you.
I think we covered all the elected officials update. Public comment, do we have anyone signed up for public comment, either here or online?
No one signed it,
No one signed up?
not here.
Okay, and if anyone online wishes to use this time for a public comment, please unmute, raise your hand. Otherwise, we're going to go to section 6, unfinished business. Not having any, we'll proceed to a public hearing at 10 o'clock. This meeting will actually come back and address the public hearing that we have scheduled at 10 a.m. So let's go into the new business. Section 8, 8A, consideration of airport material RFP, which is going to be tabled.
Make a motion to table?
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez.
Yes. 8B, consideration of count question resolution letter, Mr. Dorenkamp.
Commissioners, when the census count was conducted, the inmate population at the Department of Correction facility was not recorded in the proper block. And this letter that the board is going to be considering straightens that error out, puts the block that the inmate population resides in where it should be, and that's next to 350.
And I want to say thank you for the very well drafted notification. And as you say on your letter, population numbers may not change, but the clarification is like what we're seeking. So, any questions, commissioners?
No.
Okay, we'll entertain the motion.
Motion to approve the count question resolution letter.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez.
Yes. 8C, consideration of liquor license renewal for Ludlow Valley Liquor. Council, Mr. Dorenkamp.
I have a concern,
Sir?
Chairman, if I may, Counselor. For years, we have been, as a board, approving liquor licenses for those that are, in good status, and also with no reports from our sheriff's departments, and they are paying their dues and their fees. However, the question that I have today, and I'd like to hear from the owner, is this business has not been open in over 20 years. However, we continue as a board to renew a liquor license where business is not even open and viable. So if we were to move forward, in my opinion, I would like to have an opportunity to have a public hearing with the applicant to see what the whole purpose is for applying for a liquor license when your business has been closed for over 20 years. It's not contributing to the community. There's no sales tax revenue being generated. There's no employees to this operation. So what's the whole purpose of moving forward? Because if we continue to do this, as a liquor license owner myself for the city of Trinidad, who is my governing body, that wouldn't occur in the city limits. If there was a shuttered business with an active license, the license wouldn't be renewed. So in the county, why do we continue to do so? And we might not have a legal standing on it, but I would really like to hear the whole purpose of the request of a renewal for a shuttered business. So if there's no opposition to that, I guess I can make a motion to set this for public hearing moving forward.
Good with that, Councilor? I'll second the motion.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez.
Yes. Item 8C, 8D, consideration of BLM MOU. Mr. Dorncamp.
Commissioners had mentioned during your presentations, before you for your consideration is a memorandum of understanding with the Bureau of Land Management to designate Los Angeles County as a cooperative agency for the big game habitat and movement routes, etc.
Commissioners, any questions on that?
No, I have a concern about it. And when I finish this concern, I'll probably make the motion. But my concern with this whole process is what is the agenda that's hiding behind this push to regulate our big game corridors and what's going on in the BLM? Is this part of the 30 by 30? And I hate to be that conspiracy theorist for America the Beautiful. And then when this happens, will they be considering putting this in a conservation easement or something if they move that corridor from one place to the other? Having said that, I'm a big advocate of having a seat at the table. And if we can help mix the ingredients for this cake, so to speak, then I would make the motion to support.
Before you make the motion, Commissioner, pardon the interruption, I just want to, you asked the question, is this part of the America the Beautiful? Under the MOU Section 2 background, policies exist at federal and state levels for the conservation of movement routes, migration corridors, and important habitat for big game species. The America the Beautiful initiative sets targets for conserving the nation's lands and waters, expanding collaborative conservation of wildlife habitats and corridors is one of the top priorities. So that indeed is part of the language. So this is part of the 30 by 30, and absolutely agree with you, we have to be at the table. Furthermore, in 2019, the Governor of Colorado, Jerry Powell, signed Executive Order D 2019-011. And that executive order mandates, this is one of the questions why I believe we have to have a seat at the table. Executive order is conserving Colorado's big game winter range and migration corridors. When I read the executive order, it mandates 3 entities from the state, Division of Natural Resources, to compile status report on Colorado's big game migration patterns and related scientific materials on seasonal habitat by April 1st, 2020. And we haven't seen that. So when we get to the table, like you're saying, we will be able to outline some of these things. Then the Colorado Department of Transportation shall enable safe wildlife passage and reduce wildlife vehicle collisions and incorporate consideration of big game migrations into level in the planning process. Then CPW is to incorporate information concerning big game migration. So this executive order mandates those 3 entities to work together to identify the priority areas for the implementation of this big game crossing over. I think one of the questions Commissioner has that we have as a board is being at the table that the corridors are going to be moving, as you earlier said, with the introduction of the wolf. They're going to push those corridors and they're going to be adopting additional corridors later on. One, in my last comment, I don't want to exhaust this point so much, but here on exhibit, I believe it's exhibit B, attachment B, spring 2022. So this is already underway, and we are a little bit late. Invite cooperating agencies, begin data sharing for the RMPA data. Then summer 2022, preliminary alternative identifying the issues. June 2022, notice of intent, 45-day scoping period. December 2022, which is coming up, 4-week review and draft. This is where we need to get in at the table and see if through once our council and their council begin to work together, if there is an opportunity for us to submit any comments. But this basically, June 2024 records record of decision and the approval of the plan. The timeline, we're coming in about 3 or 4 activities behind, but in conversation with our Colorado County's executive director, he does recommend for counties to go on and support this initiative. So commissioners, and also checking with other counties, they have joined through this MOU to garner the seat at the table. And pardon the kind of a long roundabout way, but I just wanted to make sure that that information is in front of all of us. And we understand that this has been driven through the BLM and by executive order at the local level mandating what these entities and counties need to comply with.
All right, I'll finish with my approval of
MOU.
I would move for approval of the BLM MOU.
And I will second the motion.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes.
I hate the language in there, cooperative.
Well, it's an overreach.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna tell us what to do with our land and private owners and everyone else at a federal level.
If you read through the lines, thank you, that was some pretty interesting reading over the weekend and a ton of research. So, 8E, consideration of LACBCC number 7005 to Ogres Enterprises, LLC, $3,004.42. We have the information attached. Any question, discussion, otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve OVCC 7005 to Ogres Enterprise LLC for $3,804.42.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. 8F, consideration of unleaded fuel bid, and we receive, I believe, the information on the bid from Ms. Randy Bowman. Any questions, commissioners? Mr. Protocol?
Commissioner, before you for your consideration are the results of IFB 2022-F004 for the delivery of approximately 8,000 gallons of unleaded fuel to our fairgrounds facility with the following results. Bahama Valley Oil, $2.84 per gallon. Extended price, $22,720. World Fuel Services, $2.519 per gallon. Extended price, $20,152. Acorn Petroleum no bid. Wallace Oil no bid. Duran Oil no bid. So I ask the board to approve World Fuel Services bid of $2.519 per gallon. Extended price $20,152.
Any discussion, commissioners? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Question, Phil, how come Acorn, Wallace, and Duran aren't submitting any bids? It's been a while since we've seen anything.
Commissioner, I'd like to answer that question. I don't have an answer. They just aren't. But you're correct. They've not submitted bids for unleaded or diesel for years, but we'll continue to send the bid docs to them.
With that, I move for approval of the unleaded fuel bid to World Fuel Services, $2.519 per gallon, for a total of $20,152.
Second.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Consideration of the Valley Lock and Security Alarm Contract. Mr. Burkham.
Commissioner, before you for your consideration is Valley Lock and Security contract. This is for the installation of, for lack of a better way to describe it, panic buttons that at the security office, at the security desk in front of the courthouse, if there's an issue within the courthouse at any office that has one of these buttons and the buttons pull, then down to security, they'll be able to identify exactly where that panic button's been poked from whatever office, where what we've had in the past has not been able to distinguish that, we just an alarm has been off. So I'd ask the board to approve this, and I believe Finance Director Cobley could probably add as to where the funding for this is coming from. It's something we talked about sometime back, but they could either change out the cameras or go with this panic button service.
Right, and Kenny's budget, there's funding available for that.
And just need to add, I think one of the contracts is for the annual fee with them, and then the other one is a bid for the amount for what you just described.
The equipment, so there's going to be equipment and
So
there's
we
going
have
to
an
be
annual
software.
fee with them always. From what I gathered from the conversation we had with the gentleman is they've wired it so that we don't have to use the telephone line anymore. So we can get rid of that line, which was running us about $86 a month. So it is an increase from what we paid in the past. We were paying $300, now it's $6, but we're gonna make that up plus some. That's the one, and the other one is the one that came in later, was for what Phil just described.
Well, I'm a huge proponent of keeping our staff and our employees safe and sound, especially in the times we're living in today. And I appreciate what we're doing and moving forward with this. This time, it appears we have the funding to move forward. Even if we didn't, we would probably necessarily need to find the funding. So with that said, making a motion to approve Valley Lock and Security Alarm contract.
Second the motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Consideration of the University of Colorado Denver Technical Assistance Courthouse Landscape Scope of Work, Mr. Dorica.
Commissioner, before you for reconsideration is University of Colorado Denver Technical Assistant Courthouse Landscape Scope of Work. We've entered into these types of agreements with the UTA as the acronym that they use for fairgrounds work and for some of our other facilities. And now they did a site visit sometime back here at the courthouse. And as per the letter that's in addition to this scope of work, they're really excited about helping us come up with I think they call it a zero-scape, even though the shrubbery that they're possibly looking at asking us to plant will require like an inch of water every couple to 3 months until those plants get established. It's going to be like an inch of water a year. So to try and conserve water like is all of our goals, I think, when and where possible. This is just a scope of work that helps us attain that goal. And I think our match on it's $540 and YOLA's $360 for a total fee of $900.
And the 40% from DOLA has already been secured. Well, I like that. I could say in respect. That's fantastic. $360.
Well, as long as we don't have pop-up golf thing out front here, I think it's good to work with these folks, and it's so nice to see these young students excited to work with our county government moving forward to the mass. So thank you all for your efforts in this, and I have no other issues, Chairman.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval of the University of Colorado Denver Technical Assistance Courthouse Landscape Scope.
Second.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Consideration of OBCC number 7006 to Mr. Ted Shihor. Mr. Nedio, Mr. Dorncamp.
Commissioners, it's my understanding that Ms. Leonetti wanted to discuss this in executive prior to the board considering this topic.
Very good.
So we need a motion to table, and I'll make that motion.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Consideration of HR and payroll services. Mr. Dorncott.
Similar to this topic, Commissioner, go into executive to discuss this prior to the board considering.
Move to table.
Second?
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess? Yes. Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Financial matters. Consideration of bills and payroll for the first half of November 2022. Director Overly.
Payroll as of November 15th was $183,297.12. Any questions on payroll? Bills paid on November 2nd, $48,974.18. There was a check too for tires for road and bridge stock of $12,945.63. Bills paid on November 9th, $102,988.28. An invoice for Armstrong for the industrial park grant for $12,009.25. For Gold Academy, we reimbursed their security deposit from the fairgrounds of $250. Runback elections, that was for the ballots, for $16,695.13. For Fisher Peak study, that's a grant, $10,470. And that's it, unless you have questions on any invoices.
Motion to approve bills and payroll for the first half of November 2022.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes, the second item is information only, financials as of October 2022. Director Overly.
Okay, so financials as of October, I kind of thought I'd do something different. On page 6 is our general fund. Each department, they should be at 83.3% on their budget. And if you kind of skim through each one, you'll see that everybody's been following their budget. There are a few that are over, but like the DA is over because we supplemented additional funds to him. Who else was over a little bit? The jail is over a little bit, but the sheriff's office will probably cover that. Emergency management is over because there's a grant that I think was covered, I think in 20, but it's happening now this year. So, but we will get funding back for that. And let's see, who else was over there? Fairgrounds is over because last year, or part of this year, we noticed that utility bills were being charged to fairgrounds where they were charged to road and bridge, and they should be the fairgrounds. So we will budget correctly this year. But other than that, everybody is following their budget very well. I just thought it'd be interesting for you to kind of see that we can track that to make sure that no one goes over budget.
This is really much appreciated. Puts it all in perspective.
And thanks to Paula, because as per usual, she watches every day.
Every day.
Every day. Yeah, I just thought that'd be interesting, because I used to give you, the financials on how much surplus or deficits, but it'd be interesting to see everybody's budget this year, at this point. It's getting close to the end of the year. This is when we start watching. Okay?
Well, thank you.
Sure you will.
Thank you. At this time, I think we will
Take recess.
recess.
Motion to take a short recess.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes.